All right. So this is on right now. So we are going to we're going to run this lesson. Um, but if you have not, would you please make sure your notes are labeled to say section 2.7. We have two sections left in this chapter. So today and tomorrow, you guys are going to have a test next week on Tuesday. All right, on Tuesday. We don't have a ton of new material to go through today. We're just going to look at a couple ideas. We've already done this. Okay, we're going to talk today about percentage of change. So if you have not kind of labeled the beginning of your notes like this, where we are, and we're going to put a definition of percent of change in there, and then we're just going to look at some examples of that and how that kind of could play, especially into our lives, really on a daily basis. Okay, so can we find a percentage of change, first of all, and then secondly, can we solve some problems using it? So by definition, there's what percentage of change would say. How much do we increase or decrease in a given percent? Okay, and if you're running a business and you're purchasing materials, buying and selling at percentage of change is how you make your money. You can't buy high and sell low if you plan to turn a profit. Now, down at the bottom of that screen, you see there that it says, how do I find a percentage of change? And I have to do that by identifying the amount of increase or decrease. So that's where we're going to start. The amount of what we'll call change. How much does it increase or how much does it decrease? And we're going to divide that by the original amount. For the sake of everything that we look at today, the amount of change, or excuse me, the original amount will be found chronologically. You know what that means to think chronologically? In time order. So what happened first? Yesterday versus today, yesterday is the original. This morning and this afternoon, this morning is the original. So we'll always think in that fashion. And if you're going to find a percentage of change, then obviously you have to put your answer in percent form, and we'll do that by multiplying it by 100 or moving our decimal place 2 units to the right. Okay? So we'll just look at a couple problems kind of involving this idea. Morgan, I got one for you coming up here in a minute. I know you're going to love it. All right? You'll probably tell me you already got one. Are you ready? All right. So here's the first one. A large cup of coffee at the Bell store costs $1.79. But everybody knows that gas station coffee tastes like gas station coffee. So they decided to start selling Starbucks instead. With the fancy name comes the fancy price. And now they've raised their price to $3.49. So first of all, is this a percentage of increase or decrease? Increase, right? How much have they raised the price? How much have they raised the price? Trevor, how much have they raised the price? I don't think so. Did you subtract? Dan there? Okay. So if I took the 349 and I minused off $1.79, they have raised the price by $2.70. That is the amount of change. I've got to take this number and divide it by what? Jacob? Which one's we got to divide by the original. So which one's the original? The $1.79, right? That's what it was. It was $1.79. What's that? 170. I ought to learn how to count. Sorry. If I take that answer and I multiply it by 100 to turn it into a percent, by what percentage have they raised the price of their coffee? And take your answer and can you round it to the nearest whole percent? So find the amount of change divided by the original. Take that number, multiply it by 100%, right? That's how we turn something into a percent. Multiply by 100 to the nearest whole percent. What do you got? Do you still have a 2 here? I mistakenly wrote 270 instead of 170. Check that again. Cameron, what do you got? 95%. Now, Cameron, is that a 95% increase or decrease? Increase, right? So you can either write the word increase or you can, I oftentimes will just put an arrow indicating that it's gone up. So they've raised the price almost 95% just because of the name. All right. All right, Eli. We have 2 more and then we're going to move on. But this first one's going to show you how old I am. All right. You ready for this? All right, here we go. That's not a nice face to make, Jacob. Okay? Just saying. Yeah. Are you judging me right now? Because the face says you are. Thanks. I'm 40. Thanks. All right. Ha to me. All right. So when I started school, it was 90 cents. But now, if I'd buy a lunch today, it'd be $3.50. So this is obviously a percentage of increase. A lot of increase. Right? What is the amount of change? Which one is the original? And when you multiply by 100, what do you end up with for a percentage of change? And this one, let's round to the nearest whole percent as well. No? Okay. As the amount of change? Yeah. I'd agree with that. Well, how do you find the amount of change? So do that. 350 minus 90 cents. Okay, that's the amount of change. Divide that by which number? That's okay, the original amount. Which one happened first was the 90 cents. That result has to be multiplied by 100. You guys need to do the division first. Don't type this in one long string in your calculator. Do the division, get an answer, multiply it by 100. Okay? To the nearest whole percent. Jacob, do you know what we got? Okay. Now, I think a lot of you guys are getting that percentage on your calculator and not believing that it can be correct. How many of you are in that boat? Like, I don't see how this answer can be possible. All right. Let me ask you this. If I started at 90 cents and I increased by 100%, how much money would I be adding to the 90 cents? If I paid 90 cents originally, right? If I increased by if I added 100%, how much would I be adding? Another 90 cents, right? How much is 90 cents plus 90 cents? It is $1.80. Am I paying more than $1.80? Yes, right? How about if I added another 100%? How much would I be adding to this total? No. Another 90 cents, right? That was the original. So if I added another 90 cents, how much am I paying now if I add that up? That is how much? Okay. So $2.70. Am I paying more than $2.70? I am. So what if I added another 100%? How much would I be adding to my total? Another what, Trevor? Another 90 cents. How much does that give me for a total? Okay. Am I paying $3.60? Not quite, right? Not quite. Almost. Well, if the total got to $3.60, that'd be adding 1 to 300%. Well, is your answer of 289%? Is that close to 300%? Yeah, just like this total of 360 is really close to what I'm actually paying of 350. So is 289 a reasonable amount? It is. It feels like it shouldn't be greater than what number? It feels like we shouldn't be greater than 100%, right? But in this situation, because we're really talking about it's a long span of time, unfortunately, right? 34 years later, right? I mean, 34 years later. So is it? I mean, it's realistic to think that's going to happen. I mean, when I was in high school, my mom would send me to the gas station to fill up her car, and she'd give me $20, and I'd bring her money home. Your parents filling up their car for $20 with change coming back? Right. I mean, my wife's car, when I watched it fill up, it's like a 30-gallon tank. Like, as it just keeps going, I just keep watching the numbers just keep rolling. I'm like, for the love of everything, please stop at some point, you know? So it's realistic to think that could happen. Last one, we're going to move on. Morgan, this one's for you. Look at this beauty. Huh? You got one? I figured you would. It's got two hands. Might as well have two splitters, right? Huh. Nice. All right. So this one's on sale. So it's no longer a percentage of increase. Now it's a decrease, right? Well, normally the price is $1,499.99, but I took this picture off their website this morning, and the price is $100 off, $1399.99. Okay, what's that? Yeah, you get $100 off, right? Yeah, we can call it 1,400. So think the same way though. Nothing changes. What's the amount of change? Which one of those two values is the original amount? Okay, so take a second and see if you can't figure out. We'll round this one to the nearest whole percent as well. They do. It's all up there on there. Right on their website. They want to be nice to you. Yeah. It's kind of hard to read, but it is off to the side. They tell you the sale. They tell you the was. Then you better squint with your good eye. Then move forward. You know, I mean, you can see what you need to see. Say that again. You better check that again. Did you put the amount of change? Which one's the amount of change?
7.
There you go. Yeah. Can't see me. I'm camo today.
I said what the new price was.
Yeah. Yep. The amount of change should go on the top. That's where we better put that 100. They told us, right? You are saving $100. Which number am I putting on the bottom? Am I putting the $1,500 price tag or am I putting the $1,400 price tag? Which one was the original? The 15. So for the sake of the penny, we could say 1,500 instead of 1,499.99. We'll get extremely close with the penny difference. It'll be okay. Morgan, what do you think? A 7% what? Okay. So in this situation, right, a 7%, and you can either write the word decrease, or in this case, we could put an arrow facing down to indicate that we're dropping the price by 7%. All right. So if you want to find percentage of change, you have to be able to do two things. Number one, you got to figure out what the amount of change is. And then two, you got to figure out which is the original amount. Okay. So what is the amount of change? And then which one is the original? All right. We're just going to look at a couple more examples and then we're done. How about that guy? I feel like you'd find him in a used bookstore, don't you think? A used bookstore will buy books back. It's obviously how they become used, right? They're going to buy it for $3, but they'd like to make a little money. So their profit margin says they will sell it for 78% above what they paid for it. How much are they going to sell the book for? Your answer better be bigger than what? It better be bigger than what number? It better be, or you're the worst businessman ever. If your answer is not bigger than 3, you are not making money. Yeah, that's it. Yes, Mr. Yogam said when you go to college, this happens every time. When you're done with your books, the bookstore will gladly buy them back for you for a fraction of the price, and then turn around and sell it to the next person for a whole lot more. What's that?
College books don't come cheap.
No, they don't. You could easily spend over $500 on your books for a semester. 500 would be a low price too. So I've got one so far that has an answer. Jacob has an answer. Can you figure out what 78% of $3 is? 78% of $3. You're close. Bridget? Okay. So if you do $3 times 0.78, because that's what we're going to have, 78% as a decimal is 0.78. Bridget, you said it was what? 234. What are you going to do with the $2.34? Jacob? Add it to $3. $3 was the original price. Add those two together. They're going to sell the book for $5.34. You weren't off with your estimate. It was pretty close, right? But knowing that the total that you had just estimated and what we paid for it originally, we should be able to put those together to come up with a pretty decent estimate of what that price should be, right? So in this case, $5.34. All right. Eli, what are you feeling about this dude? No Denim Dan in his Canadian tuxedo. All right. Huh? Yeah, Denim Dan. There he is right there. He's famous. Okay. So you could buy a pair of jeans at Old Navy, or you could go pay a whole lot more to have a seagull put on them. All right. Hollister's going to raise the price by 285%. Okay. No. Nope. 285%. So my question to you is, what is Hollister going to charge you for these jeans? Old Navy's only going to charge you $16 for them. I feel like it's probably pretty close, to be honest with you. I mean, I made this example up, but I mean, I feel like it's going to be pretty close to this. Whose are? Yeah, right. Yeah, right. Yeah. You girls have an answer? No. You must first figure out what 285% of 16 is. No. You must first figure out what 16 times 285% of 16 is. Well, you got to turn 285 into a decimal so that you can multiply by it. So it's going to be, move it 2 place values, not 3. Now you just moved it 1 place value. 2 place values. Start there would be your decimal point, right? 1, 2. Yeah, you originally wanted to say there and then there. You know what I mean? (285% as a decimal) is equal to how much? Trevor? Okay. So they are going to increase their price by $45.60. But that's not what they're going to sell it for, Bridget. Good. They're going to sell it for $61.60. You think they're more than that? Oh. On sale. What's up? What? I don't know. Yeah, that's it. All right. Last one because we're running out of time. Okay. So here's the last one. It's homecoming week, but there's no dance this year. All right. But I guess you could still go out to dinner. I don't know if you're allowed. I don't know. So a meal for you and your date. There's Eli in the future on his date. Okay, we just put a goatee on him. They could be like twins. All right. So you and your date's going to cost you $46.75. But in Stark County, we have sales tax. Okay. 6.5%. In a restaurant, it is. So my question to you is, what's the price of your meal going to be? You think you already have it? Okay. So take a second. Okay. So remember, though, money is only 2 decimal places. So round that accordingly. So give me an actual answer. Remember, money is 2 decimal places. Fresh. Perfect. Here, your 46.75 needs to be multiplied by 6.5%. How do you write 6.5% as a decimal? Not 6.5. Huh. Good. You got to move that 2 places, so it's 0.065. Now that result tells you how much you're paying in tax. How much are you paying in tax? Money. Make sure you round it correctly. What are you paying in tax? Nobody has an answer to that. Kyle? $3.04. That's what I did originally. I gave you time to do that. You took that time as an opportunity to talk. Now, if that's your tax, what are you paying? Total bill is how much? Jacob, what do you got? Okay, so we take the 46.75, add those two together, and we're at 49.79. Now, Mr. Yoka made a good point there. You're really not done. You do need to. You should put a tip on there. So, for the sake of the argument, let's just say that our bill now is $50. I mean, we're 21 cents away from $50.
Anybody know what the standard tip amount is these days?
Percentage.
It's percentage.
Percentage.
Stay in there, you say what?
Yeah, that's not. Yeah, what are you thinking?
If I ever get a chance to give a tip,
Uh-huh.
I'm giving a 0% tip.
And don't say that because that's how somebody's making their money. Okay. You should typically be tipping somewhere between 15 and 20%. So 18, obviously good. 18 a little hard to figure out in my head. Okay. I think we could very easily figure out 10%. Can you figure out 10% of $50 in your head without a calculator? How much? 10% of $50 is how much? $5. If I wanted to give a 20% tip, then what do I need to do with the $5? Just add 5 more, right? And I'd be at a $10 tip. If we wanted to do, a 15% tip, then we could take our $5 for 10, and then we could take half of that, and that would give us the 15. So you should be giving somewhere between $7 and $10 in a tip. Could you give a $20 tip? Of course you could. But you can't just say I'm going to give $20 because if your bill, if you got a $150 bill, now all of a sudden 20 is a little bit low on that percentage. So you can all figure out 10%, and if you take 10% and double it, you get a 20% tip. I give you a good idea where you should be. All right.